I guess the question is, do you want a high value man or a high value marriage? And if marriage is the goal for me, personally, and I think that even though your man, when you meet someone, and I also do think it depends on age too. But if you are younger, wanting to get married, like in your 20s, a lot of times you are not going to find a mate in their 20s that are high value, making a whole lot of money. So I think the idea at that point, if you want to get married when you're young, I think it's a great stepping stone to learn how to build together. The purpose of the marriage is to build.
Good point.
And so when you don't have what you're looking for is to see, and I know a lot of men, like I hear on the shows, like where women go wrong is they look at the potential of a man. And I think the potential is fine as long as it's followed by the action. So I may not be making, what Kanye say is on fries, and next week I'll be the manager or whatever. You want to make sure that they are heading in the direction of meeting certain financial goals, that he has a plan, like, yeah, I'm doing this now while I go to school here, I've already enrolled, and this is what my 5-year plan looks like, this is what my 10-year plan looks like. So that way you can see, okay, I can get on board with this. I know he's not making a lot right now, but based on his plan, I can rock with this. And you don't mind building together. I think where women go wrong a lot of times, and I can only speak for Black women, it is that we already want everything. We see the end result. We want the end result without putting the work in to get towards that.
Good point.
And so from looking from that perspective, we need to understand that in order to get that end result, we got to put in the front work and not just focus on the financial aspect.
So let me ask you a question. So are you saying that women are not dating men who are not have value? You said that Black women have that's an issue for Black women. So are you saying
I'm saying that Black women focus on looking for high value men, and that's their caveat to getting married, as opposed to focus on the aspects of a man to make a high value marriage. So those are two
why
different
they
things.
aren't married.
Because
That is exactly why they aren't married.
So let me ask you a question. Because 2 years ago, we didn't even know what a high value man was.
Well, we may not have termed it high value men.
Okay.
But chicks, like how they say gold diggers, we call them gold diggers or what have you, where the focus and the emphasis wasn't on the man, but it was on the money.
Well, the reason why I question it, my goal, my job here is to, have a conversation. But the reason why I question that is because, I come from a small town where most people don't make over $50,000 and they're all married and they're all Black women and men who are married. Do you think that that's an urban thing, or do you think that that's just everybody?
I think it's environmental. I remember reading a study that was saying that in small towns, their marriage rates are typically higher because everybody's in the same boat.
That's right.
When you're in a small town, there's no access. So using you, for example, you didn't want to stay in a small town. You left and you came to the city. And so now your expectations are going to be different now that you're in an area where there's much more diversity in terms of financial diversity. And so if you are in a position where you can meet a mate that's making a lot more money, then that's where you're going to go. But in a small town, if you don't have access to that, you take what you can get.
So basically, Shantae, had you stayed in Alabama, you would be married.
Oh, no doubt about it. Alabama's still trying to get me, okay? But but the question is, so all of the women on this panel, it sounds so great because I think Mistaken is the only one that's. Oh, ladies here, are you married? Okay, so Mistaken is the only one person that's married. So I know you guys see a lot of men. A lot of men. What's the problem if it's not economics?
Been quiet.
There's a lot of men who are single.
You're awfully quiet.
You said we date a lot. You said
No, I know, I don't know you, but I know my friends do. And so, my question is, if you're taking economics out of it, there are a lot of men who are available, and they all like you. So, what's the problem if it's not economics?
Well, for me, I literally just started dating again.
Oh, okay.
Like I literally took like a year and changed just to spend time with myself. Just after my last relationship, like I broke off an engagement early last year, so I've just been enjoying my own company. And now that I have started to, get my feet wet in the dating world, it's just weird out here. It's not like it was when I was single before. It's crazy. Like folks are just caught up on this whole social media rhetoric. It's just not the same. So, and I'm very particular. I'm very, I don't know. I don't know. It's just like new. It's like a new climate. Like I'm very, I don't know. And so the issue is probably me learning this again. And I'm okay with owning that. It probably is just me learning this whole thing again. And I'm just weirded out. So that's my answer.
Y'all don't have to answer that question. It's personal, so you don't have to answer that question.
I be in the house. I don't go nowhere.
That too.
I be in the house. Well, I was in a relationship not too long ago, so I'm just trying to take my time and ease back out in the dating world. But I be in the house.
I had a question. So are we saying that the numbers don't matter? Are we saying as far as economics is concerned? Are we saying that as far as economics is concerned that the numbers don't matter at all as far as marriage, as far as being able to save for your children's college fund, as far as investing and all of this different type of thing? Are we saying that the numbers don't matter?
That's what it sounds like, Ken.
I'm just trying to make sure that we're clear on
I think the numbers matter, but that's part of the plan. My thing is, it may not necessarily, especially like I said, the younger you are, it doesn't necessarily start with the numbers,
right?
But the numbers should definitely be a part of the conversation, especially when you're talking about family planning, because to have a family is going to cost money. So when you're talking about that family planning, which, I'll speak for myself, and based on statistics, a lot of us, especially the Black community, we don't do. We don't plan to have kids. We have kids and then plan after the fact, figure out what we're going to do now that the kid is here. Mm-hmm. But in doing it the correct way, you will have a financial goal when you meet. You may not have a whole lot of money, but you say, okay, when we reach this amount, this is how much it would probably take to raise a kid, for the first 5 years or whatever. I don't know. But then that will be your goal. To say, okay, within 5 years, we'll just, hold off on having any children right now. And we're going to work towards this financial goal. Once we hit this financial goal, this is when we can start, planning for a family. So the financial, of course, is going to be a part of the conversation. But I don't think it necessarily always have to be the premise before you get together. As long as the goal is we work together to build.